kind of too distracting because I can put something else on like this or just like.
I don't find it distracting. I find
okay, yeah.
That's probably something that everybody would use
okay.
when they, they're in this Google Meet thing.
That's good.
All right, 2 more minutes to go. And we actually have company, which surprises me. This is 8 o'clock on Sunday morning.
Yeah, these students are pretty studious. Your screen just lagged a little bit for me. I'm not sure if that's just
really
how maybe it's just a connection thing, but like it's just lagged like a little bit. But I could still like hear everything you said.
Oh, great. Because you don't lag, on my side.
Okay. Maybe I'm not sure. It just lagged a little bit though, but I think it should be fine.
And I think we should do okay.
Yeah, and I can tell you if it kind of lags.
Yeah, please let me know if you can't hear me or if you lose me. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Good morning, everyone, but it's good evening for Zheng-Ying. I'm so happy to be able to live stream with Zheng-Ying again after a year. Last year when I live streamed with Zheng-Ying, he was just about to apply for colleges, and now he's a college freshman. So I'm happy to live stream with Zheng-Ying once again. And if you have any questions to ask, you can actually do that either in English or in Chinese. 好，所以大家等一下如果要问问题的话，用中文跟英文都是 OK 的，因为郑颖的中文其实挺好的。那要先跟大家说一下，好 ，Let me tell you something about 郑颖。好，郑颖他在去年的时候，他实际上是先考了 SAT， 然后他就开始进行他的大学申请。那他报了蛮多所学校的，然后都是美国的很好的大学。那在录取了将近10所之后啊，郑颖就必须要去做抉择，所以最后郑颖选择的是 Georgia Tech， 也就是美国数一数二有名的理工方面的那个名校。所以郑颖即将要去亚特兰大展开他的大学新生活。但在那之前呢，我很开心郑颖今天可以先来跟大家分享一下，说他在准备大学考试，或者是在准备大学的申请准备的时候的一些抗压的 pitfall， 然后也很开心。等一下郑颖会谈的是，他其实本来比较偏商，然后后来他改成了理工科系，所以那个过程实际上我觉得大家也可以听听看，因为可能对某些高中生来说，其实在选定自己的科系或者志向的时候，其实也是会有一些困惑的。So with no further ado, 郑颖 please.
First, I just want to thank Daisy for having me on here.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to talk to everyone, and I've really enjoyed this live stream last year, and I know it's going to be a blast this year as well. So today, Daisy would like to have me kind of share my experiences during the whole college application process and kind of walk you all through. So Daisy, would you like me to get started with the slides?
Yeah, please do.
So with this whole year of college applications, it's really opened my eyes as to how really important my physical and mental health is, especially since I wrote countless essays for my college applications. And in the middle, when it gets really stressful, I could kind of feel myself, like my heart rate would go up, my my daily routine, I would be sleeping late, and overall I just felt really bad. And that really affected my mental health as well, and was a detriment to me. And so the big idea I wanted to push is that your physical health is also connected to your mental health, as a lot of you might know. And so if you're like me and you get stressed, I like to stress eat. So sometimes I just eat a lot when I'm stressed. And if you're making a lot of bad health decisions, like staying up late till 2, 3 a.m., and you're eating a lot of junk food, McDonald's, whatever, if you're physically feeling really bad, your brain kind of slows down. And I kind of like to live by, if you feel good, you perform well. So look good, feel good, perform well.
刚刚郑怡有说，其实他觉得那个身心是互相影响的，也就是说他在真的准备的过程中，他其实有发现自己心跳会比较快啊，然后其实睡眠品质也会受到影响，然后所以他其实觉得你的心理，就是当你真的开始觉得很焦虑、很紧张的时候，其实你的身体也会有一些变化，所以身心的关系是非常非常的紧密的。所以郑怡说他其实就是属于会他叫做那个压力吃，就是他会因为压力然后会去吃，他说这都是很正常的，但是你就是记得说你要保持在一个比较正向的状态，这样子其实你的表现也会比较好。Yeah.
And so with this, I just want to give kind of a big overview, big picture of the college application process. 所以我在申请大学的时候，我每个步骤，这样子，就是跟你们讲，我是哪一个步骤是最，我自己 feel 最怕，然后最 stress 的。So in the U.S. application process, in August, you obtain a recommendation letter and you start your essay writing. And this recommendation letter can be from someone like a teacher or a coach or a mentor in life. And so it was very stressful for me to ask for recommendation letters because it was something that I've never done before. And asking someone to kind of validate you and who you are and who you represent is quite stressful.
And that's actually something that Taiwanese students would not go through. 要跟大家说的是，这一点跟台湾的那个大学申请非常非常不一样。郑颖那时候在去年8月的时候，他实际上是要去拜托，就是一些老师、一些长辈帮他写推荐信。那这个东西大家不用经过，真的是太幸运，因为对郑颖来说，其实你要去拜托一个长辈，然后拜托一个老师帮你写推荐信，其实是有压力的。
And so, in the American college process, you have one main essay, but every college has specific mini college essays. And so, in August, I started writing for all of these things, and in September, I finalized the shorter prompts and my main personal essay, and that was after I think 15 revisions. So I went through a lot of revisions. I had a lot of people read it over, proofread, and I just kept going until I found something that I felt like really represented who I am. And in November, it was time to submit to my schools. So my early decision and early action schools was when I submitted, and this was in November. And just to clarify, there are two big types of schools. So there are schools you apply to earlier in the process, and there are also schools that you apply to later, and those are the regular decision schools.
就是这里要跟大家说一下，这又是另外一个跟台湾很不一样的地方。比如说刚刚郑颖有说，其实他在拜托了长辈帮他写推荐信之后，其实9月开始进入的是一个他自己要很努力的部分，就是他要写我们这边类似的备审资料，这样哈，就是他要写所谓的 essay， 要写所谓的 prompt， 而且他说他其实在那个过程中哈，就9月那个月，他实际上修改了10几次哈，就是比如说15、16次这样子，然后而且不同的大学科系的申请可能会稍微微调哈，所以当时一整个月实际上都是在弄这个大学的这个备审的资料。然后在11月的时候，郑颖有说，其实在美国有分，就是所谓的early decision、early action school 跟 regular schools， 所以就说他们有所谓的必须要提早申请的，然后跟照一般时程申请的。但不管怎么样，实际上都是11月、12月那个时候，所以这一件事情跟台湾比较不一样，就是他们比较像是你考完 SAT 之后，你知道分数之后，然后你开始去做刚刚说的那几件事，然后你就可以开始去申请学校了，这样。
And so, kind of my main takeaway from all of this was that there's a lot of stress involved with the college application process, as everyone knows. As I pointed out earlier, with obtaining the recommendation letters, that was one big stress. And then another stress was trying to find the perfect essay. And that's something that I realized that really improved my own time management skills was sometimes you might not have the perfect essay, but if you get to a point where you're proud of what you've done, that's enough, and you just hit submit. And so, to kind of give more background, during these 4 to 5 months, my life was pretty much wake up, go to school. I had some math tutoring that I had to do, finish school, and then I would just write essays after school. And so, after my homework, which would usually be from 4 to 6, from 6 to maybe 11, 12 a.m. or 11 p.m., 12 a.m., I would be writing my essays. And so I was spending 4 to 5 hours every day working on these essays and trying to really make them something that I would be proud of. because I knew that I only have one chance, and I wanted to seize that opportunity.
我觉得这里一定要跟大家说，就是听完郑颖的故事，你就会知道，其实高三到时候如果花很多时间在弄你的备审，其实是很正常的。因为郑颖就说，其实有大概4-5个月的时间，他除了早上去上学，下午回到家之后，然后可能写个1-2个小时的作业，然后实际上每天都有大概4到5个小时的时间都是在弄他的 essay， 而且他不断的修改。他说，其实压力来自于你真的不知道说这就是 the best version of your essay， 这真的就是你最棒的那个版本了吗？好像他说，但是最后你就是要接受那个，其实已经让你觉得也很为自己感到骄傲的版本，这样就好了。因为其实 I don't think there's a perfect version of essay. You simply have to be satisfied with your best efforts. 对，所以我觉得郑颖刚刚提到的点，大家真的可以就当然可以求好心切哈，你可以不断的投入心力跟时间在这件事上面，但最后你也要知道什么时候该跟自己说差不多了，就是这样
了。Yep. And so, kind of some tips that helped me personally. In my experience, and maybe you guys could take away from this, is to stay positive. And that's something that everyone says, but it's a lot easier to say than actually do, especially when you have maybe 4 essays to write in 3 weeks and you're so stressed and you feel like everyone else is out having fun. It's hard to really see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I think it's important to attempt to stay kind of have a positive outlook and think I'm going to get these done, and then I can rest much later on. And so that's something that got me through the 4 to 5 months that I was just kind of cramming essays every day, was remembering that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And something else that really helped me was thinking of my time as an investment to my own future. Just like if you invest money into your college education or high school education, it's the same thing. So you're investing your time into, for me, crafting all these essays. For you guys, it might be more preparing for your big exams. And so something else is that you have to kind of realize that everyone else is going through the same stress. And something that helped me was, instead of writing essays by myself, maybe 1 or 2 days a week, I would go and I would sit down in the library and I would write essays with my friend. So my best friend, we would sit down in the library, we would write essays together. We wouldn't talk at all, but it was nice having someone else there going and knowing that you guys are just going to get through this together.
我觉得sorry 郑颖I think you make a really good point. 刚刚郑颖说的那个，他说其实大家都会说要保持正面啊，好，想法要再阳光一点啊。他说这个真的是知易行难，可是他说是真的靠着这一点，那他可以度过那几个月的应该要很黑暗的时间。而且他说其实你要想着的是说，你其实是最后你其实走在隧道里面，然后隧道的尽头是会有光的，所以你要提醒自己说，你只是在那个过程中，然后其实最后你是会到达终点的。这件事他觉得是大家要记得，尤其是大家之后如果是高3生，暑假开始念书的时候，你要记得这一切都会结束的，只是你现在在那个过程中。而且刚刚郑颖说了一个很棒的点，就是你应该要把你的这所有的花的时间，不要想成是牺牲跟痛苦，你要想成是在为你的未来做投资，就好像你把钱放在银行里头是一样的。而且郑颖说，其实他说有伙伴是很好的，比如说郑颖实际上有一个好朋友，他们会一起在图书馆里面，然后一起写 essay。他们虽然没有交谈，没有互动，可是你知道说有一个人跟你在经历一样的事情，你就不会觉得自己孤单了，就是 you're never alone in this whole thing. Thank you.
Yeah, so with the last 2 points is that a lot of the things seem a lot more difficult than they actually were. And that the first step is always the hardest is kind of my big takeaway, because sometimes I would think about a whole big essay I would do, and I would sit there with an empty page and I would think, wow, how do I do this? This is impossible. And then when I start typing the first sentence and then I kind of get the ball rolling and I keep typing and typing, it becomes kind of a more just busy work task instead of a impossible challenge. So sometimes I think that the first step is really the hardest. And to kind of add on to everything on this slide is that something that I've always thought of was that since elementary school, we've all gone through this education from first grade to now in high school, about to graduate. These few months are just kind of the end of our high school journey before we start a new one. And so something that I've always remembered is that I want to give my best these last few months because I'm really at the finish line. And so a lot of you guys are also just kind of at the finish line. So kind of remember that, and remember that soon you'll be done. and you just have to really cross over that finish line and finish strong. So, 如果在中文讲就是从first grade 到现在，我们已经要毕业了，就是这段时间，这10年，10年多，真的是已经都一直上课念书，然后补习班，但是我们现在已经就只剩几个月了，所以这几个月完，不就高中就没有了，所以我是想成那样子，然后有帮助我。
对 ，that's a perfect mindset。我觉得郑颖刚刚提到一个超棒的点，比如说他说真的是万事起头难，比如说当郑颖坐下来，真的要就面对一张空白的纸或者空白的电脑荧幕，你开始想着要去打你的 essay 的时候，那真的是最痛苦的，因为你真的不知道你要从哪里开始哈。就好像大家接下来7、8月要开始念书嘛，然后或者是你要开始写你的英文作文、你的中文作文，你面对着空白的稿纸，你一定会想说：天哪，我要怎么开始我的第一句？所以那个其实是最难。但是你一旦开始了，你就会发现哦，还好嘛，就是 I can make it。然后，而且刚刚郑颖有说，其实当你念书念了这么多年，然后你最后就是考这么一个试的时候，你就跟自己说 ，This is the end。你已经快要到那个所谓的终点线了，就再撑一下。
Yep. Thank you, Ms. Stacy. And so my next kind of point is the physical health aspect and some things that I've tried to do in my own experience here throughout this with all the tests, exams, midterms, essays, getting recommendation letters, submitting my portfolios. And so these kind of tips are something that got me through it, and I hope you guys can take some things away, is that and I just want to point out that I'm not perfect with this, so I'm by no means the best person when it comes to staying on track with these, but it's something that I've been working for, and I've seen noticeable changes in my own life. So with hydration is drinking lots of water throughout the day. I have this water bottle, and I drink maybe 2 to 3 water bottles just in the school day at school. It's something that it's just been a routine for me, and I've noticed that my skin's gotten better. I feel overall more healthy. I feel more active. But you also have to remember, while eating good and being hydrated is good, you also must do the work. So if you want to improve your physical health or even maintain it, you have to have at least a short exercise routine. And this is easily doable with less than 25 minutes. I usually spend half an hour on exercise when I'm busy. And just an example here was when I had COVID and I was sick. I did 3x15 push-ups, 3x8 dumbbell curls, and 3x12 squats in my room. And I drank 1 gallon of water a day, and I slept 7 to 8 hours. And the 7 to 8 hours ties into the recovery aspect with we're using our eyes so much, using these glasses, and just I bet you guys as well are studying really hard, and so your eyes are worn out, your body's worn out, especially if you're going to the gym, and so you need to sleep enough. And while I understand that 8 to 9 hours, perhaps you can focus on quality over quantity. So instead of trying to sleep 12 hours a day, you could stay off your phone right before bed, maybe read a book, listen to some music, and if you sleep 6 to 7 hours with a good kind of routine and rhythm, you're going to wake up feeling quite refreshed. And so that's kind of like the main point I wanted to say, is that you don't have to spend a lot of time to maintain your physical health, but you do have to make an effort.
我觉得郑颖提到一个很棒的点，就是就因为你的压力很大哈，所以你的那个生理健康更是重要哈。比如说刚刚郑颖有说他刚刚好拿一个那个水瓶，然后实际上那个水瓶在上学期间那几个小时，他实际上会喝个3、4瓶，也就是说你其实补充水分是很重要的。然后郑颖有说，其实你如果喝水喝得够多，你的皮肤状况也会变得比较好啊，气色也会比较好。然后郑颖也说，其实你一定是要保持运动习惯的，而这个运动应该要是一个你很容易就可以做，就是你随随便便就可以做，然后不见得要做到很久，所以比如说你甚至只做30分钟不到，都很棒哈，因为你就是维持你的身体是有在动的哈，他觉得这也很重要。然后另外他说，其实你的睡眠对你也很重要，因为你其实要好好睡，你才能够 我们叫什么排毒，就才能够让你的身体恢复一个平衡。而且这你刚刚有说，其实最理想当然是睡8到9个小时然后是 quality sleep，就是你是真的有好好睡觉的。但如果你睡6到7，但是也是 quality sleep， 也是优质睡眠的话，其实也很棒就是他说，其实你应该要做的事情是，就是尽量不要去碰你的手机。如果你真的都决定要睡觉了然后尽可能的把你的手机摆离你，然后你不要再去碰它。然后你可能可以看个书啦，或者是听个音乐啦但是你就不要再碰你的手机了这样子你就可以让你的睡眠品质更好。And Jane, I saw, on the presentation slide that you actually talk about your COVID experience.
Yes, so I had COVID back in March, right before a big swim competition. And so this was a really kind of nerve-wracking moment in my life. But I just, again, tried to stay positive. I knew I couldn't do anything about it. And during this time, it was two, maybe 3 weeks of just being in my room alone. And so I knew I had to maintain my physical shape somehow. And so that's why I kind of forced myself to stay active. I wouldn't do gym exercises for a long time, but I just do maybe half an hour each day and make sure that I was sleeping, stretching, just keeping myself active so my brain wasn't just always lying on my bed and just thinking random thoughts.
因为要跟大家说的是，郑颖接下来这个经验，我觉得是很棒的因为郑颖他自己在3月的时候，实际上有得过 COVID， 而且那时候他刚好要参加一个还蛮大的游泳比赛所以实际上对一个游泳选手来说，你得了 COVID 真的是一个很晴天霹雳的事情。而且郑颖那时候因为 COVID 的关系，所以实际上有大概2-3个礼拜的时间，他是只能待在自己的房间里面的。所以他在自己的房间里面的时候，其实你很容易就会中文叫耍废就会变得很厌世。但是郑颖说他那时候就是刚好觉得说，反正平常其实本来也想好好健身的家里也有那些什么哑铃然后他也可以做伏地挺身或者仰卧起坐所以他反而是利用那2到3个礼拜他 COVID 确诊之后的那段时间，实际上他很认真的努力去做健身，然后发现这个身体方面的运动也让他整个人保持在刚刚一开始说的 stay positive， 就他就比较不会那么的负面，反而能够维持在比较平静的状态。
Yep, and so of course with this physical health aspect, it ties to my mental health. And I'm no expert on mental health, but I think as a high schooler, I've experienced a lot of ups and downs throughout high school, especially my senior year this year, with so much stuff going on. And again, these are just some tips that has helped me. So time blocking, essentially, I pretty much block out some periods of time for relaxation. But I like to think of this as active relaxation. So you're not just sitting on a chair scrolling through your phone, but you're actively engaging in something that allows you to relax. So something like stretching, listening to music. Because scrolling through Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, Twitter, it doesn't really give your eyes and your brain a break. In fact, that just forces your brain to process more information, so you're going to be more tired and worn out. But I like to just kind of block, 30 to 45 minutes each day for something that I like doing. And this could be drawing, watching YouTube, even video games. But with what I said earlier about social media, it's a bad thing, but have like a purpose. So if you really want to go on social media, set yourself a 15-minute timer, give yourself 15 minutes, go through social media, swipe through everyone's stories, and have fun. But make sure after the 15 minutes you're back to getting your work done. And with this, I understand that being really, really busy, especially in your guys' shoes, when you're perhaps trying to prep for exams and midterms and all these things, you might not always get the 30 to 45 minutes each day, but maybe having something small, like sometimes I won't have the extra time to go and play video games or to work out, but maybe during lunch I'll listen to a podcast, or even just grabbing lunch with friends, or just talking to friends for 15-20 minutes. That is my personal kind of way to relax. And so I think the main thing is just finding something that you like to do every single day, because we're 17, 18, and life has already passed a lot. So I feel like, in my opinion, if you don't spend part of your day doing something that you like, then for me it gets really mundane and repetitive, and I don't like that feeling of having every single day kind of the same, like we're in a simulation. So yeah, I think definitely the big takeaway is just give yourself something small to look forward to every day, and that could just be eating a scoop of ice cream at the end of the day, or maybe it's waking up and seeing the sunset, or walking your dog, or playing the piano for 30 minutes. It's just whatever you want.
我觉得郑颖刚刚讲到一个很棒的点呢，在中文我们说要寻找每天的小确幸，因为他说，就因为念书，特别是在你真的买手书堆，或者像他在准备大学的时候，那个真的是很 mundane 哈，就是你每天都会觉得好像都复制贴上，然后日复一日你都在做同样的事情，其实你真的很容易就会叫什么无感哈，变得很麻木哈。所以他说，实际上你每天都应该要找一件让你开心的事情做哈。他说，比如说欣赏一下日出啦，或者是跟一个好朋友聊天啦，这样或者听个音乐哈。然后，而且刚刚郑颖提到一个我觉得很棒的哈，就是大家应该要把自己每天的时间区分成 time blocks， 就是所谓的时间区块哈。比如说，你当然要有念某些科目的区块，但你实际上也要有一些休闲的区块。不过刚刚郑颖有特别提到说，就因为你在读书的时候，你实际上已经用了很多你的脑袋跟你的眼睛，所以实际上你的所谓的 relaxation， 你的那个休闲的时候，应该是尽量不要用你的脑袋，不要用你的眼睛的。所以他说，实际上这个时候如果滑开手机去看 Instagram 或者是看 Twitter 这些社群网站，其实不太好哈，因为你的脑袋反而没有办法休息，甚至可能还更忙碌了哈。所以他反而觉得，其实好的所谓的 relaxation 哈，就你真的念书到一段时间的时候，你其实是应该好好的听个音乐啦，听个 podcast 啦，或者是去好好的跟一个人聊个天，就是他才觉得那个是比较休闲的事情。所以他说，其实每天最理想是可以花个大概30-40分钟，但就算没有，你实际上如果能够挤出个10-20分钟，做一件让你很开心的事情，比如说吃个好吃的啊，这样其实都是很棒的。
Yeah, thank you, Daisy. You summed that up pretty much perfectly. And now for anyone with any comments or questions, remember, 想说中文问我这里的申请大学要做什么事，或是我自己的在美国住的怎样，你也可以用中文问，or in English, of course.
所以要跟大家说的是，我们进入的是我们的 Q&A 时间，然后 Q&A 时间的话，大家可以用打字的，但是也可以开麦克风问哈，然后你要用中文或是用英文问都是 OK 的，正音 Chinese。然后大家其实除了可以问刚刚郑颖分享的部分，然后你也可以问其他的，对，因为如果大家没有疑惑的话，其实郑颖等一下是要讲的是他自己怎么从商，然后变成了工程相关的科系这样，所以针对刚刚的部分，或者是就只是郑颖的在美国的求学期间的生活，有任何想要问的吗？就是you have anything that you want to know or any questions that you want to ask？ 所以大家有想要问的吗？对，就是打字也可以哦，直接问也 OK。因为大家如果目前还在想，还没有问的话，我们等一下会进入我们的下一个主题。然后大家如果在听下一个主题的过程中，然后也可以想想你要问郑颖什么东西。郑颖 I think they're still trying to come up with something.
Okay, yeah. Take your time.
So shall we move on with your second presentation?
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, Zheng Ying. The question is the application requirements for American universities. 请问是公立大学，就是那种 top 100 universities。请问的是前100大吧，对不对？就是 for the top 100 universities. What are the requirements?
So there are only a few basic requirements. Because of COVID, a lot of schools are SAT optional, or SAT or ACT optional, but most of the top 100 colleges, especially the top 20, they still require your SAT, along with your high school transcript, so your high school grades. And also, most of them require 1 or 2 recommendation letters, so you need to ask some teachers. It's usually 2 teachers plus someone else that's not a teacher as your requirements.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that's it, along with the personal essay. So if you think of it as the essays for the college itself, the main personal essay, recommendation letters, SAT, and your high school grades. I think those are the big 5.
就是 这你刚刚有说，其实 SAT 或 ACT 是optional，但实际上如果是全美前20大的话是一定要，就是你一定要有SAT 跟 ACT，然后你也一定要有推荐信，然后这个推荐信有分来自学校老师的跟来自非学校老师的，也就是所谓的校外人士的推荐信，然后你也一定是要有 essay 的，就是刚刚那个郑颖说他在写的东西，然后那个 essay 里面实际上必须要涵盖所有你在高中阶段做的所有的尝试跟活动，然后可能是学业相关的或者是非学业相关的，全部都要列在里面，所以它某种程度是 a summary of your high school life。然后他说也一定会看 GPA， 就是你的在校成绩，所以他说这些其实都是有名大学里面最想对。Ooh. So can you actually talk about that? The campus shooting incident? I think he was asking about the campus shooting. Have you heard of the campus shooting in Texas? I mean, how do people in America or teenagers like you would actually view that kind of accident?
Well, I think the shooting in Texas was an elementary school, not a college campus.
对对对，那个是国小，对对对。
我们在 Wait, should I answer in Chinese or English?
It's up to you. Yeah, I can do translation for you if you like.
So I think most of us in the U.S. we have obviously we think all shootings are pretty tragic and saddening. Luckily, there hasn't been any that's happened in my area in
Indiana.
In Purdue, but
Purdue.
that's something that everyone kind of thinks of, especially as we're all going to college. And me, I'm going to college in a big city, so kind of there are dangerous parts, but I think most of the students here just kind of every time we hear something like that, all of us have hearts, so we feel pretty saddened by it, and we hope that people in higher power can make a change and perhaps limit those types of tragic accidents.
对，刚刚郑颖有说，就是其实他住的是在 Purdue 大学附近，所以比较偏大学城，所以实际上在郑颖住的地方是不会有这样子的事件。但他知道说，确实如果是在大都市或是人口比较密集的地方，比如说他接下来去亚特兰大念书，对，说不定比如说在大一点的城市可能就会有这些事情。他说，但是在美国，不管以他们是青少年是学生，他说其实只要发生类似的事情，他们都是觉得很悲伤的，然后也觉得是非常悲剧性的事情。当然是很希望政府当局可以多做点什么。
And I just want to add something to the former person's point about the requirements for U.S. colleges. One thing, a big thing that is technically optional, but everyone has to fill it out pretty much, is your activity section. So you get 10 spots to put everything that you've done in high school. And this could be clubs, sports, activities. Maybe you're in a writing club, or you're in the theater club, or you swim, you play football, baseball, basketball, all those things. And with that, there are also 5 spaces that you can put awards, so awards and honors. 所以你在高中你得了什么奖，你这5个地方你就是可以放，然后你有10个地方你是要放你在高中自己做了什么事，所以大学才知道你是哪一种。
而且刚刚郑有说到一个很重要的，他说那个虽然被标示为是 optional， 就是选择性的，他说其实大家都会填，就是每个人都是会填自己高中阶段做过哪些非课程相关的尝试跟活动，然后还有你得过的奖，对，总共有10个 spot， 总共有10个栏可以让你填。他说那个说是说选择性，但实际上大家都会填。大家不知道还有没有什么问题？因为如果没有问题的话，我们要进入我们的下一个主题，这样。Shall we move on and then see if they have any more questions to ask?
I'll share my presentation.
Thank you.
So, if people don't know, me, I'm someone that all throughout my life I've been kind of indecisive, and choosing something that I would study for the next 4 years in college was also a quite stressful time for me, personally. And so today I'm going to share with you guys my own experiences on how I kind of found what I like to do, and this is my personal experience. So, of course, you guys might have differing opinions or experiences, but I just hope that my experience can kind of maybe give you guys a different outlook.
这个是今天的第二个主题哈，因为刚刚郑颖比较像是谈到的是你在准备大考的时候，或者在申请大学的时候，你可能会有的压力，跟你应该要怎么去维持你的身心平稳跟健康。那这个是今天的第二个主题，因为郑颖他说他是一个比较有选择性困难的人，因为他是一个双子男孩的，所以他可能不是那么容易做决定哈，所以这个都是他的个人的经验哈，只是给大家参考哈。但是他当初是怎么在探索跟思考说自己以后要走什么领域嘞？哈，这个倒是可以给大家当个那个借鉴哈，就你就知道说你以后在选科系的时候，你应该要思考些什么事情。
Wait, sorry, Miss Daisy, I think you're muted.
So you, oh, okay. Are we still?
No, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, could you say your last part because I think you muted before.
Huh? Really? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. I said that. 就是这个是郑颖自己的个人经验，但是还是要给大家参考，尤其是大家接下来如果还在困扰说我到底在大学申请的时候应该要报什么样的科系、什么样的领域的话，我觉得郑颖的经验很值得大家听一听。
Thank you, Miss Daisy. So, as I mentioned before, in the college application, you have to write kind of a lot of prompts for college-specific topics. And this was a prompt from Carnegie Mellon University that I had to write. So the prompt was, most students choose their intended major or area of study based on a passion or inspiration that's developed over time. What passion or inspiration led you to choose this area of study? So I think as all of us attempting to kind of figure out what we love to do, this prompt is a good starting point to kind of branch out and dive into your interests. So you want to think about how you would answer this question. Some of you may just think already in your mind, wow, I want to be a lawyer. That's it. Cut and dry, black and white, I'm going to be a lawyer. But for a lot of us, when we think about this question, we kind of feel stuck and we can't really think of a true reason why we chose a major. So perhaps reflect on this, and that's something I've done a lot throughout this college application process, is kind of think about, why am I doing this? Because spending 4 years of your life is a lot of time, and I want to just, everyone I think wants to be perfect and make the perfect choice, but we're all 17, 18, and so perhaps some of us are quite indecisive.
我觉得郑颖这个跟大家分享的这个问题很棒，大家实际上在之后啊，也可以时不时拿出来问自己跟思考一下。郑颖说这个是他报的那个 Carnegie Mellon 的大学问的那个 essay question 哈，就是他希望每一个来申请的学生都要回答这一题。就是他说，其实很多人都是在基于 passion 哈，你是有热情的，基于 inspiration， 你是受到启发的，然后你选了某一个领域或者某个科系。他说，那你是基于什么样的热情，或者基于什么样的启发，然后让你决定要选我们学校的这个系哈。所以郑颖说，其实这不只是 Carnegie Mellon 的题目哈。他说，实际上大家在接下来的大学考试准备过程中，或者你最后真的要去申请科系的时候，你都应该要问自己这个问题。他说，当然可能有人会直接跟自己说，哦，我就是要当律师啊，哈，不管怎么样，我是一定要当律师的。他说，有这么明确的志向的人当然是很棒，但他说其实大部分的人应该是有在困惑的，就是我到底是我的热情在哪里，然后是什么东西给了我最大的启发，那我到底之后到底要念什么科系？所以他说其实如果你是这一类的，他说他反而觉得是很自然的，就是大家都是这样，所以单单只是回答这个问题，某种程度就是在帮你理清你到底适合什么样的科系，什么样的领域。
Yes, so some of the questions that helped me are listed here. So obviously, what subjects are the most rewarding? So in school, do you feel like maybe in math, when you finish solving a test, solving a problem, you feel really happy with what you accomplished? And there are also people, some of my friends, after a biology lab, they just feel really happy with what they found, and they love doing labs and writing reports. So maybe that's you. And with this, think about what subjects and areas would you like to spend more time studying. So maybe if you had free time, what would you do by yourself? So maybe you would go online if you like coding. Maybe in your free time you would download JGraphs, you would use Python, you would learn C++, Python, Java, and really use your free time to dive into those things. And that may be an indication that you want to be a computer science major.
我觉得郑颖的前2个问题很棒哈，就是应该说这个简报画面上的问题，其实我觉得大家很值得截图，就是你应该好好的思考这些问题。那刚刚郑颖有问一个，就是当然最开始你应该问自己说，到底念什么科目让你很有成就感？让你觉得你的付出都有得到回报。比如说刚刚郑颖有说，有的人就很喜欢算数学啊，就觉得算数学很有成就感，或者很多人会喜欢做实验啊，比如说他去做生物实验的时候、化学实验的时候，他就很有成就感。好，所以他说这个你是要问自己的。然后当你突然手边有了很多空闲时间，或者突然多了一些空闲时间的时候，你最想念的是什么科目，或者你最想做的是什么事情？比如说有的人可能就会觉得啊，我现在多了1个小时、2个小时，那我去做 coding， 我去编码，或者是我去弄 Python， 对。所以他说这个其实是很重要的，可以帮助你判断，就是你应该要念什么领域跟科系的关键。
Yep. And of course, there's an opposite side to it. So what subjects would you rather not study in high school and what you find pointless? So maybe you despise math, you dislike math, you just hate doing it. But you really like essay writing. So maybe you should be an English major and really dive into kind of learning how to write literature, topics like that. And if you had a chance to choose a job, what would you like to do? So what's your really dream job? As a kid, I really wanted to be, I think, a fighter pilot. I wanted to fly a plane, all sorts of things. And now that I'm 17, 18, I really have a lot of time to think about it. And with me, I want to work. So working with vehicles, electric vehicles, and making batteries is something that I think I would find interesting, and that's sort of my dream job. So perhaps you could really think about what you would like to do if there was no other deciding factors. If your parents, siblings, you don't listen to them, and you really listen to yourself, and what is your own dream job that would fulfill you, because it is your own life.
我觉得郑颖刚刚提到的很棒，就是他说当然有很让你喜欢的科目，但也应该会有让你不是那么喜欢的科目。他说，比如说如果你真的不喜欢数学，那8、9不离十，你可以考虑看看念外文啊，或什么的，会不会更开心一点？然后刚刚郑颖说到一个叫做 dream job， 好，所以你要想想看说，那你到底心目中的梦幻工作是什么？比如说郑颖说很小很小的时候是会想要当战斗机的飞行员，像最近的那个什么 Top Gun Maverick 是吗？就是那种独行侠里面那样子。但他说实际上越长越大之后，其实他发现自己对于那种动手去组那种 vehicles 那种小车辆啊，或者小运输工具啊，实际上他是非常非常着迷的哈，所以对他来说，说不定能够继续去做那些比较机械相关的啊，或者那种他会觉得是更贴近他所谓的 dream job， 就是他的梦幻工作。
Yep. And maybe you don't know what you would like to do right now. And so if you need more time to figure it out, there are gap years and gap semesters. I'm not too sure how it works in Taiwan, but here in the US, you can often postpone your enrollment for a year, or even just not apply, but apply the next year. But you should also remember that the first year of college is often really general courses, so you don't really need to know a specific area of study. For example, at Purdue, if you want to study engineering the first year, you go through a program called first year engineering. And this is where you take classes like physics, engineering, you maybe take chemistry. These are really basic level courses, so you don't need to specialize in maybe biochemistry or electrical or mechanical or aerospace until the second or third year that you're at college.
I think it's the situation is quite similar or the same in Taiwan. 在台湾实际上你在确定录取大学之后，如果你还不是那么的确定要直接去，或者是你想要多做一些思考跟体验，台湾确实也可以让你选择保留学籍，就是你是可以保留你的学籍，然后你可能先有半年或1年的时间，你自己在外面闯荡，或者是去体验什么东西，然后再回来念书。只是说we have that kind of opportunity or choice in Taiwan, but hardly I don't think any people would actually do it. I mean, most parents would expect their kids to go straight to college instead of, taking a year off or taking half a year off. So that's definitely something still beyond parents' imagination. 对，但我们其实还有另外一个跟美国很像的，就是其实大家如果真的上大一啊，如果你是工程类科的科系，你其实会发现，其实你修的都是刚刚郑颖说的比较 general courses， 比较偏基础的入门的共通的 科目，比如说只要是工程系的，可能都是要念数学，都是要念物理，都是要念化学的，所以他说反而不用太焦虑，也就是说你可以用你大一这一年，然后去好好的思考，那你大二大三以后，然后你可以选更深入、更专精的科目的时候，你要选什么，这样继续去精进。
And so with that, I just wanted to share my own experience. Originally, I really liked math. I knew that from a young age, something about math was interesting to me, and so I wanted to pursue accounting because kind of numbers is something that's always appealed to me. So it was either accounting or something to do with analyzing the stock market. With all the fluctuations and graphs, I thought that would be a really interesting way to kind of apply my math skills. But to begin with, I was really closed-minded. So I only just thought I wanted to be a business major, and I wanted to major in accounting, or something to do with quantitative science. So just something to do with analyzing markets. And after talking to my parents, teachers, and doing more research online, I decided to really open my point of view and be more open to new ideas and try new things. So something important about that is putting myself out there to kind of have an uncomfortable zone where I don't really know what I want to do, but I want to try a lot of things. And so
先跟大家说一下，对不对？就是郑颖他有说，他说他一开始因为真的很喜欢数学，所以他本来很单纯的觉得自己是不是就去念个会计，或者是念个跟股市相关的科系就好了。对，但后来他其实是跟其他人，比如说老师啊、同学啊，或者他自己上网研究之后，他发现，哎，好像不用想的这么封闭，就是实际上是可以考虑别的选项的。对，所以他开始去考虑看看是不是应该要探索一下别的领域。
Yep, and so with this new mindset, I became really interested in electronics after physics class my junior year. So last year, during a physics lab, our teacher gave us a light bulb and some circuitry and a breadboard. And with this, I was really able to experience different circuits and kind of making different wiring connections work. And that really interested me. And with this, kind of a natural curiosity kind of arise from this, and I wanted to advance my knowledge further. And so I launched my 100% solar-powered e-scooter project to see if I really would enjoy electrical engineering. And because I think a lot of people can say, I enjoy this, I like this, but in my opinion, if I didn't kind of get my hands dirty and do a project like electrical engineer one day. So with this project, it pretty much stemmed with wanting to build something that I could apply my electrical engineering skills. And with this, this was completely independent of parents and school, so it was just by myself. I used an old scooter and old bicycle parts, and I ordered batteries online, and I wired the batteries myself. I made a lithium-ion battery, and then out of wood and different materials, I built a deck that contained the battery in a battery case. And with this whole thing, the only help I received from parents was kind of safety issues. So my dad would help me cut metal and wood because I didn't want to burn down the house. And but at the end, it really did work. This was maybe a lot of months of hard work and just sitting in my garage trying to figure everything out, but it really showed me that I was willing to persist in a project like this, and so it kind of confirmed my own interest in electrical engineering before my college applications, which I was really fortunate about. And so with this, maybe if you're interested in CS, you would start coding 15-30 minutes a day, and I would say to explore slowly and courageously because we're all young and we all still have a lot of time to figure out what we like to do.
我觉得郑颖说的点很棒，就是当你如果真的想要知道你是不是真的对那个东西有兴趣的时候，你应该要实际去做。You should have hands-on experience， 对对 ，before you make the final decision。所以郑颖说，实际上他当初从商想要转工程的时候，刚好在上物理课的时候，还有在上电机课的时候，然后实际上老师有让他们，比如说用灯泡啊去接电流啊，然后自己去设计啊这样的。然后郑颖就觉得挺有趣的，然后郑颖就自己在家做了一个 project 哈，所以他想要设计一个 solar scooter， 好，是设计一个用太阳能发动的一个滑 滑板车这样，然后所以他那个时候实际上是完全独立作业的，除了有安全考量的时候，爸爸会帮他可能切个东西啦，或者接个东西啦，哈，但是剩下大部分的时候，实际上都是郑颖自己去独立完成的那个 project。然后当他最后看到那个成品的时候，他其实觉得很有成就感，而且某种程度是在那个过程中跟看到结果的时候，他更确定知道说他应该就是要念工程类科。所以他说，如果你是对 computer science， 如果你是对资讯科技有兴趣的同学，你应该是要每天或者每个礼拜花个10-20分钟，或者1个小时2个小时，你应该要去试试看 Python， 比如说去试试看 coding， 你要实际去试，你才知道说你适不适合，喜不喜欢，对，不要只是想，就是你应该要真的去做。
Yeah, you summed that up completely perfectly. And so with this, some more tips is just like I mentioned before, what subjects are the most rewarding, and that is just to kind of narrow it down with a lot of fields. But now with all this online resource, YouTube, documentaries, papers, articles, you can really research what you want as a career. For example, online I would watch day in the life of an engineer, or day in the life of a lawyer, or the week of a lawyer, and look at their lifestyle and see if that's something that I would want, because lawyers work a lot of hours, and so I wanted to see if that's something that I would like to pursue. And so it kind of gives you a unique perspective because it's in the perspective of the topic that you might one day pursue. And something else with this is to don't give up a certain subject just because you didn't get good grades. In my opinion, a lot of students might choose to not study engineering or business because of bad math grades or physics grades. But instead of kind of just giving it up because you think I'm not good at math, so I can't do engineering, there's a lot of self-learning resources out there, like free textbooks. There's MIT lectures on YouTube now, so you can take a whole course on the MIT OpenCourseWare YouTube channel. But really seeking out new material is what matters, because at the end of the day, I believe that if you have a dream that you want to be a certain type of profession, I believe that as long as you work as hard as you can and kind of seize every opportunity that you're given, you can achieve it.
我觉得刚刚郑颖说了一个台湾学生应该也会遇到的事情，就是比如说你可能以为你想要念工程，可是你可能因为在报大学的时候，你因为某个科目的成绩没有到它的门槛，然后你可能就没有办法报。但是郑颖说，其实现在是一个学习的黄金时代，而且有网络这个大平台，所以他说其实反而是比如说假设你的数学或物理或化学啊，好像没有考到那个门槛，你好像不能报某个科系。可是他说现在比如说像 MIT 麻省理工学院，他们都在 YouTube 上面有自己的 Open Course Channel， 就你可以直接在 YouTube 上面就可以看到麻省理工学院的所有的课了。所以这真的不是一个说自己不要去学习的一个借口。而且刚刚郑颖有说，他说像你如果想要知道说律师大概是过什么样的生活，会计师大概是过什么样的生活，实际上现在的 YouTube 上面有非常非常多的 A Day in the Life of Somebody， 就是比如说一日律师啊，或者律师的一天，或者是工程师的一天，或者法学院学生的一天。他说其实你可以好好的去 YouTube 上面，或者是去看他们某一个人的 vlog 啦，或者是去看一些纪录片都好，就你可以好好的去叫什么do your homework， 你可以好好的做自己的研究，对，然后你再做决定都不迟。
Yep, and to kind of end it off, I just wanted to give a big reminder that we have time to change in the future. Most of us are 17 or 18, and we have a lot of time to find out what we really like. So leave all options open. Be open-minded. According to a study, 1 in 3 college students switch majors during their undergraduate career. 20-year-old me is going to be a completely different person from 17-year-old me right now. I'm going to have different interests, different friends maybe, and just have a different environment. And so you really never know what your future you wants. So you can always just kind of leave all your options open, be broad-minded, and let yourself, or like allow yourself to pursue whatever you want at the time you want. Because a lot of people do change their mind, and it's okay to change your mind. And with this, you can also pursue a variety of options. So in US especially, I'm sure in Taiwan as well, you can double major and you can minor in different fields. So if you like art and you like business, you could double major. You have a major in art and a major in business. Or you can even get minors. So perhaps you're studying CS, but you love business. Maybe you can get a minor in business, and to kind of have that specific field of learning to really. But to get up, I think that if you have a dream and you want to achieve it, it's okay to kind of switch that dream. Maybe right now you're dreaming of being a doctor, but middle of college you think, wow, I want to be a businessman, or I want to be an engineer. It's okay to change, and because as long as you work hard, in my opinion, you're going to achieve that dream. And just realizing that everyone else around you do change their minds, I think it's a kind of stigma. People think you have to stick through a major for 4 years. You have to go with the first choice you made. And I think that is, in my opinion, not a healthy mindset because, like I stated before, as we grow older, our minds are going to change and our interests are going to change alike in a few years. So don't be afraid of change and know that there's maybe a good chance that your mind will change in the future, and that's perfectly okay.
我觉得郑颖的这个提醒非常非常的棒，因为他就说，其实不要觉得好像你之后有改变，然后甚至想要转系或者转主修，这点有什么不好？因为刚刚郑颖在那个投影片上给的这个数据是说，在美国啊，实际上大学生里头每3个就有1个人，他可能在上了大学之后是会改他的主修的，直接改领域，所以他反而觉得说，大家不要觉得好像大学4年你就选了 A 这个科系，你就一定要 stick to this major， 对，你就不要觉得好像一定要这一路念到完，好，如果你真的不喜欢或者是不那么适应，实际上你可以试试看郑颖说的，比如说你可以有 double major。你可以有双主修，或者是你可以 choose another minor， 所以你也可以选择副修，或者甚至就直接转系，那也是一个选项。所以比如说郑颖自己都说了，比如说现在的他是18岁的他，那20岁的他说不定又不太一样了，所以你在成长的过程中，尤其是你们现在才10几岁，太年轻，你会不断的改变，然后你的想法可能也会变，然后你的兴趣嗜好也可能会变，你的人生规划也会变，所以 be open to all kinds of possibilities， 对 ，keep your mind open，keep your options open， 所以即便上了大学，感觉好像你就是要念某个科系，其实你反而还是可以让自己处于一个任何选项都可以，就是不要觉得有哪个选项这不行，对，不然会给自己太大压力，那个其实是没有必要的。
Yep, and so we're at the comments or questions. 所以你们如果想要问我在这里要念什么，然后想要念什么，还是我朋友都大部分在念什么，还是大1、大2要上的课是什么？或是 even 就是我怎么选择我要念工程，然后我要念这个部分。
对大家今天是真的很难得，因为我们跟郑颖有着12个小时的时差，我真的很感谢他。我们现在是早上的9点，他们是晚上的9点哈。然后所以我很开心可以跟郑颖连线之后，其实我觉得这是一个很难得的机会，所以大家可以用打字的哈，你也可以用开麦讲话的方式啊，你要用中文讲或者用英文讲都是 OK 哈。然后大家其实不见得只是针对今天分享的这2个主题，你有任何关于美国的，比如说像郑颖身为一个高中生，然后即将要去念大学，或者是你对任何他在美国的事情，其实大家都是可以问的，所以 feel free to ask questions， 对大家真的很难得，所以请大家把握的最后这几分钟的时间，对不对 ？Do you have anything that you want to know, or is there any question that you want to ask 郑颖 because this opportunity is super precious， 对，所以大家要不要问问看？所以可以用打字的哦，然后也可以直接开麦问，有吗？大家有什么想要知道的？没有吗？哦，
我直接用中文讲。
所以 can you actually talk about the cost of college education in America?
Yeah. 我可以只用中文讲。
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
所以来美国念书，钱。如果你拿到，很多人都会拿到 scholarship， 但是你没有拿到 scholarship 的话，你就需要去你的大学网站看大概多少钱。所以一个大概 public school 的话是大概5万块美金。
5万for 4 years？
For for 1 year.
Oh, for one for 1 year. Okay. Okay.
所以对是蛮贵的，但是如果你很想来这里念的话，有很多学校是有给很多奖学金的，所以它其实不会那么贵，对，就是但是呢就是只是他在网络上面讲的就是5万块一年，很多学校都是大概5万块一年，
所以这里说如果是公立大学的话，大概就是5万美金一年，台币大概150万。但他说，其实你有各种各样的奖学金可以申请，所以你最后其实都通常不是付5万，对，你其实是有付比较少的，
对。所以要准备是蛮多钱的，但是就是你要想说你毕业后你赚的钱也是大概多少，就是你要看一下那个大学毕业的人赚的钱是多少。我知道很多人是从别的国家来念的。他们就是私立的是，我认为要从国外来念，私立的学校会给最多的奖学金，然后给最多的钱，所以如果你上了一个好的私立的学校，你的钱会是很少的，就是有很多你可以在网络上面看，很多人都是不用付钱，就是自己买机票，然后买电脑，然后要准备东西，那你就可以来这里念书了。就是因为私立的学校就是比较多钱给 grant 或是 scholarships， 所以那些就是会帮你有点督促你去念书的。然后但是公立的学校就是因为你在美国这些人会 pay tax， 所以因为他们 pay tax， 所以他的 tax 已经有点帮他付他的学费了，所以从别的国来钱。
这个要跟大家稍微说一下，这个跟台湾稍微有点不太一样哈，就是在美国，因为他们是联邦政府嘛，所以他们实际上每周有自己的那个 state tax， 有自己的州税。比如说像郑颖在的是 Indiana 州，所以你实际上住在 Indiana 州，然后你付了 Indiana 州的税。那你如果念的是 Indiana 自己的大学，比如说 Purdue University， 那你就会有那个 in-state tuition， 就是你是属于州内的人，你已经爸爸妈妈都帮你付了很多这一周的税，那你的学费相对就会比较低一点。那你如果是 out of state， 比如说你是加州人，然后你要去念 Purdue， 或者是你是加州人，你要去念纽约的那个 New York State University， 那实际上你就会比较贵，因为他们就是采州的那种税法。然后可是郑颖说的是如果台湾的学生他觉得如果去申请美国的私立大学的话，就比较没有这个问题，因为私立大学会很想要招人才，所以反而是美国的私立大学你比较容易拿到奖学金，所以反而你不用付出那么多的学费。所以他说如果是台湾的学生，其实他觉得报美国的私立大学反而是有优势的，你就不用去管那个 in state 跟 out of state 的事情，就对public universities 来说这样。郑颖 I want to know， I mean，因为刚刚郑颖有说，其实你要想成说你在大学付的这些学费，你实际上出去工作之后你是可以把它赚回来的嘛，所以郑颖 like if you actually become an engineer in the future, what's the average pay of an engineer? Like if you work in Silicon Valley?
So this is something that you would have to kind of look at data online. So I'd just like to share my screen right now.
给大家看一下郑颖的荧幕分享。
This is how you can kind of just research it. Is just go on these websites and you look at how much you can really earn, especially in the Silicon Valley, which is one of the hardest places to work in. You can see that the average salary after 1 year is over 100,000. So you really have to think about your investment into what you're getting, because a typical in-state student maybe pays 20 to 30,000 for their education. But as you can see, if you work hard and you work in the Silicon Valley one day, you can easily pay that off pretty quick.
对，因为刚刚郑颖就有说，比如说如果你念的是 public university， 而且你是 in-state public university， 就你是念自己本来付的税的那个州的公立大学的话，那确实可能在大学4年，你最后付出去的可能，比如说3万4万美金，就是大概台币100多万，那你当然会觉得说那个是很多钱，可你看一下郑颖分享的这个画面，郑颖分享这个画面是如果你去矽谷当工程师的话，然后如果你是不满1年的话，你其实是10万美金1年，就是大概300万台币，那你如果工作满1年或2年之后，它实际上就会有调薪的幅度哈，所以比如说你工作到大概6到9年的时候，实际上你1年的薪水是大概12万哈，所以换算成台币的话也是大概300多万哈，你就会觉得说，其实你之前花的那些学费好像就显得不是那么贵了，所以这个是大家 you have to see the bigger picture, you have to 对。
Yeah, so I can go ahead and answer this. Interestingly, I didn't have to take the TOEFL because I'm a student here in the U.S. But to my understanding, the TOEFL is a kind of like the SAT English section.
Yeah, the English section of SAT, yes.
So I can't really speak to specifically the TOEFL, but for the SAT English section, what I did was I did a lot of practice exams, and especially my favorite online resource, Khan Academy. I just kept going through problems, and that really helped me. And something else that I did to prepare for the English section was to read a lot. So I would read a lot of books on my Kindle. So I would read a lot of books that I liked, and I feel like it was a fun way for me to review my English.
要跟 Paige 说的是，因为郑颖是算是美国当地学生，所以他考的是 SAT 而不是 TOEFL。但是据他所知，其实 TOEFL 比较像是 SAT 的英文那个部分哈，就是有阅读有口说。但以郑颖自己的经验是，他自己很喜欢读小说哈，所以他觉得如果你要准备的是阅读的那个部分的话，实际上就是读小说，然后去训练自己的阅读速度跟增加自己的单字量哈。但是 for the speaking part, I don't think 郑颖 can help much because he's a native speaker. 对，他身为一个母语者，所以。
Well, I think for the speaking part, I have a lot of international student friends at my school that just came here a few years ago. And how they kind of practice the speaking is there's nothing better to do than just make mistakes and learn, right? So they just practice with friends, talk with friends, use English. Maybe you'll set 2 hours of time where you only speak English. And I think something with speaking is you have to really have repetitiveness, and you can't just practice one day and let it go a week. So 你不能有一天练习，然后1个礼拜后再练习一次。So you have to every single day you have to practice a little bit of English, maybe 30 minutes, just talking. So I think conversational English will help you with your speaking instead of memorizing phrases. So instead of memorizing how to read a passage, you would instead kind of talk to your brother or sister English for maybe 30 minutes.
我觉得刚刚郑颖说到一个重点是天天。You have to practice every day， 就不可以一曝十寒。比如说什么 practice today and practice again in a week， 就是不要这样哈。就是如果是口说这个部分，因为他说他实际上也是有认识一些国际学生哈，所以他说其实国际学生老实说 ，the only way to improve is to actually speak to practice it 哈。所以他说，当然如果你有对象可以练的话，那是最好的哈，因为其实你在对话的过程中，你的口说就会变得越来越平顺哈。但是 my advice would be if you're in Taiwan and you don't really have anybody to talk to in English。My suggestion would be you can talk to yourself. That's what I did when I was in college. When I was in college and in high school, 我自己国高中时期跟大学时期，我自己觉得口说很重要。但其实你没有什么人可以讲话呀 ，and you probably couldn't afford, a tutor, one-on-one tutor. 所以我觉得反而是你自己可以好好的自我自言自语也是不错。但关键就是 every day， 就是 you have to do it on a daily basis. 这个倒是很重要的一点。With or without somebody to talk to。那大家不知道还有没有什么别的问题要问？今天真的机会难得。So if you have anything you want to know， 所以
I would say at my school there is not a lot of racial discrimination because at my school there are a lot of international students. So it's kind of a mixture of cultures, especially with people from Korea, Taiwan, China, people from Scotland, England, Denmark. I kind of engage with a variety of people, and there's people from kind of everywhere. And so at my school, I would say not that much. I'm sure it still exists to a certain point, but I can't really speak for other schools because I think I'm really lucky to be in kind of an environment where I'm surrounded by.
要跟大家说的是，郑颖的情况算特殊嘛，因为他住在大学城，所以大学城实际上是有各个国家的学生啊、老师啊这样，所以其实反而在郑颖所在的那个环境里面是非常国际化的，就是很多元种族、多元语言的，对。哦。Asian virus 是吗 ？China virus 是吗
Yeah, so I've seen that on the news, but especially at my school, I haven't really encountered any of that.
I'll shout out to one of the attendees here today. She happens to be a student from our school, and she's currently studying in California. 朱婷，你在吗？朱婷在吗？哦，不在，好好好。Cause she's currently studying in什么？朱婷，你可以讲话吗？I don't think she can talk right now.
Oh, she's figuring out her microphone.
对，因为朱婷 I would like to know your experience in California during the pandemic. But California is.
So there's people from your school that have come to.
Yeah, she's currently studying in America in California. Okay. 因为 maybe she can talk about how she as a Taiwanese studying in America during the pandemic. Has she ever confronted any racial remarks or anything?
I think just for my experience, there's a lot of people that come around here that are from Taiwan and from China, so it's sort of more I would say we have a more global community at our school than a lot of other schools. But yeah, so it's really just where you are. I'd say in the U.S., I'm sure there's a lot of areas that experience more.
对，要跟大家说，因为郑颖真的在一个很国际化的大学城里面，而且他们实际上有很多的台湾人跟大陆人，对，所以其实不太会觉得这个是一个什么 China virus 或是一个 Asian virus， 然后就因为讲朱婷 ，Hi, it's so good to hear from you, cause 朱婷 I know that you're studying in California right now, right?
Yeah, I'm in USC right now.
那朱婷刚刚郑颖有说，因为他是在 Purdue 的那个大学城 ，so he hardly ever faces any racial discrimination. What about you?
我们学校很多很多亚洲人，所以我觉得还好。但是如果你硬要说有或没有，其实我觉得多少吧，因为我自己啦，就是我自己当成是一个美国经验的部分，我自己常常溜去 undergrad 的 frat party， 就是兄弟会的 party，然后我自己有溜进去或什么，或是自己去参与一些外国同学的活动，那你真的有时候会听而且我们学校有很多球赛啊什么，所以你其实会跟很多白人或是其他人坐在一起。其实我自己觉得你可以多想他们讲那些话意思，但你也可以觉得他们也只是想说跟你聊天，但是问你说COVID 怎么样啊或什么的，所以我自己没有太大的感觉，但是周遭的同学可能多少还是会有讲说他今天去买东西的时候有人叫他滚回哪里啊之类的，但因为我们学校没有，我们学校区附近治安没有那么好，所以我自己在学校是没有碰过，但是在学校附近的超市啊或是比较奇怪比较 ghetto 的 area 是有看过了。
但因为朱婷在 California， 所以我觉得 California 相对也是一个比较多元种族的州，所以 可能也不至于到很极端，但刚刚郑颖也有说呀，就是其实在美国真的是不同的州会有完全不一样的那个氛围。So if you go to different states in America, you will probably experience very different atmosphere. So that's definitely state to day situation. 对，所以确实是因州而异。对。
Yep. I would agree with everything Miss Daisy said, and that I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but USC student.
朱婷，对，朱婷，对
yeah. So, Zhu Ting, I would agree with everything she says because I think it's a really safe. I would say on campus is more of a safe environment than if you go to off campus and you go into more rural areas. So maybe if you're going into more like farmland and kind of venture off into the kind of the bigger city, then you might encounter more problems. But I would say in the college environment, it's pretty safe just because there's a lot of other international students.
我觉得如果大家是去念书的话，其实，在大学本身校园里头跟大学周边其实是相对安全的，因为分子比较单纯的。但是确实，如果你去乡间啦，或者去大都市里头，就在市街上，就可能就会稍微要注意一下。Do you have any other questions to ask? Is there anything you want to know? 哦，对，谢谢朱婷。
不会，刚好现在没事，看到有直播。
那还有没有大家其他的问题要问嘞？对，想知道的，对。
How can we strike a balance between studying and exploring our interests? So I think that's something that I have struggled with in the past, but I think you have to kind of force yourself to make time to figure out what you want to do, because obviously it's really good to just study, and that's what I did as well. But I think when you study with like a goal in mind, that makes it a lot better. And so when kind of like a balance, I would say, is I think they're intertwined. I think they're kind of meshed together as almost the same thing because through studying, you can kind of figure out what you like, right? When you're studying math, you can kind of figure out if you like math or not. But if you're saying like in terms of exploring stuff in your own free time, I would just say obviously make sure your grades in school are where you want them to be. So try to keep that in line first. So kind of academics come first, and then in your free time, go ahead and explore. At least that's what I did. I made sure my schoolwork and my grades came first, and then kind of the secondary thing was in my free time exploring what I like to do.
我觉得郑颖说的很好，就是其实所谓的兴趣探索跟读书，有的时候它是 intertwine， 它是 mesh， 就是你其实，在读书的同时，你其实也是在探索自己的兴趣跟自己适合什么领域。但如果纯粹是一个自己很想要花时间做的事情，那8九不离十，因为你身为高三生，你要准备大考，所以实际上你的priority，你的优先顺序实际上还是应该好好先念书，因为你基本上现实层面来看，还是应该好好把分数考高，就让你可以去符合各种各样你要的那个科系的门槛，然后剩余的闲暇时间才是可以去做你真的想要做的某些 project 或者某些想要探索的东西。对。
So you said your exam is approaching in 233 days. Yeah. So I have a quick question. So do you pick what you want to do after your exam, or do you pick it before?
They don't have to make choices or decide on their majors before the college entrance exams. They can wait until the results come out and they get the scores, and then they make their applications to different departments. So that would be afterwards.
So I would say because it's approaching in
208,
a good few months, I would say make sure you're studying as much as you need to in a healthy way, and in your free time, try to explore different things. I'm not really sure what your interests are, but just kind of, if you're in a business, read business articles, maybe play a virtual simulator for the stock market. and just do these little things, but also try different things. So if you want to be a business major, don't just try business. You could try like a little bit of coding, a little bit of something else. But as your exam approaches, once you take the exam, and then you get your score back, and then you can kind of look at what you can select. I think then, because you've tried a lot of things, you can make the right choice for you. But of course, make sure your studying comes first. So, because without the studying, you can't get the score you want to go to where you want to study what you want. So, make sure you have that in mind. Study comes first, but whenever you have free time, just explore a range of things and like try to narrow down kind of what topic you want.
我觉得郑颖的建议蛮务实的，就是终究是社会高三生准备大考，实际上还是要以读书为重，因为那个绝对是要很认真看待的东西。只是说，如果你在准备大考的过程中，你是闲暇时间的比如说今天多了1-2个小时或者半小时，10分钟，实际上你就可以去探索一下，比如说像刚刚郑颖有说你在网络上或什么，你有各种各样的资源，或者你实际去做点什么，然后都是很好的。但他觉得不要觉得好像认定了，比如说你认定了商了，你就不能去试 coding， 没有这样子就是you can keep your options open 就是 possibilities open， 所以实际上你是想试什么就应该要去试比如说你觉得今天应该要去研究看看机械工程在念什么，那就去研究。你今天想要看看电脑工程念什么，就去研究一下。对，我觉得这建议蛮中肯的。So 郑颖 you already know what you're going the courses that you're going to take in college?
Taking a lot of like the general physics requirements that I told you about, so the basic fundamentals that'll set me up for the later courses. But then I'm going to be taking a lot of specific electronic and circuitry courses later on this year, and then it's just going to get more advanced. But also within my major of electrical engineering, I'm going to choose a specific track to focus on within electrical engineering, because electrical engineering is still a big topic, and I'm gonna focus on something specific, but I don't have to choose that until much later on.
郑颖说，因为刚刚有说就是他实际上上了大学之后的第一年都是一些 general courses， 都是一些比较基本的入门的科目，然后所以真的会开始去细部的分都是大2、大3以后的事情，所以他说他反而其实没有什么焦虑感，因为他就觉得说反正先上大1的课，然后再看他大2、大3想要上什么就好了。因为他说都是电机，可是电机里面其实也是分很多个自己的领域的，但他说那个不用在大1的时候就急着做决定。那大家还有没有什么想要知道的？对，都可以问哦，对，机会难得。有吗？就可以打字，然后也可以直接开麦问。对 ，Is there anything you want to say or anything you want to know about 郑颖
I have a question for 我不想念错，是朱婷。
朱婷。
Yeah, you can just call me Ting.
Okay, so for Ting, so at USC, have you had all in-person classes all this year, or have you had like some virtual?
I think in the past year, like I got here since last August, all my classes are in person. Like at least I choose to be there, because you can also zoom in and just do the virtual, but I like in person.
Yeah, I think that's something. I don't know, because I remember a few years ago, a lot of people were making their college decisions based on virtual person, because I think more people enjoy the in-person aspect.
Yeah, I think because when I was applying school, I got in USC and also Michigan, and back then it was like pandemic, like 2020. So Michigan tell us that, because I want to go to Michigan, but Michigan tells us that we cannot guarantee you guys like if we will do the in person. And I wrote email to the USC. USC said we will do in person. So I was like, okay, I'll choose USC.
Yeah.
And I think in person is different. You can actually like small talk to your classmate and really raise your hand to discuss your question with the professor. So I like that way better. So for me, when choosing the courses, I would prefer to do the in person.
I also wanted to ask another question, Ting. So, at USC, did you do you have to declare your major like before you enter, or can you is it kind of like you can choose whatever?
Well, I'm kind of old, I'm here for grad school, so I already finished my college like a long time ago.
Sorry, I thought you were.
So, 哎呀，我刚有听到你们讨论，我觉得你们不用对于选科系，还是先努力读书，选科系可以之后再讲。你以后搞不好还有机会再改念研究所。就像我大学念跟我现在念的其实真不太一样，所以我觉得现在焦虑选什么，因为你现在也不知道你毕业以后，或是你长大以后，科技的趋势或产业趋势会怎么变。那我觉得比较重要的是，你要培养可以自己读书、自己学新的东西，或是这些能力，是我觉得比选中一个科系还来重要的。
I agree.
But I think you actually mentioned something. I mean, Zheng Ying and Zhu Ting, you actually brought up something really, really important. For the past 2 years, because of the pandemic, many college courses have been done online, which is a pity because, as you two mentioned, in-person learning is definitely more interactive and more efficient in a way. 然后，而且 I heard that some of the college students in America, they actually ask for discounts for their tuition because if they learn online, then they don't even have to, be on the campus. They can actually be home, learning. Then why do they have to pay that much for their college education? So that's actually food for thought.
I've heard some stuff about that because when you're kind of just staring like through a Zoom class, you might as well be learning on like YouTube because it's just someone talking, and then you kind of like lose all the feel of like walking on a campus, going to classes, going to study, like office hours, stuff like that. So I think there's definitely a big difference. But with the whole because it's online, I think that's something a lot of parents were kind of mad about because they're paying like a lot of money for their children to just take it on a computer.
Students in Taiwan are not asking for discounts, but of their tuition, but they've been forced to learn online for the past month because of the pandemic. So I definitely find it, something. I don't know. I definitely want it to end. I mean, the pandemic. To end as soon as possible, so that we can all get back to school to actually be able to interact. 因为郑颖刚刚说的很好啊，因为其实所谓的大学教育，它如果是一个完整的套装的话，它应该是你要去大学里头，不见得只是上课，你应该还要能够跟同学互动啊，然后去体验那个校园文化哈。所以一旦如果只能上线上课的话，其实你的大学体验是 incomplete， 对，就是不完整的，对。所以很希望大家都可以好好的正常上课。But Zheng Ying, as you know, we have been forced to teach and learn online for more than 2 weeks now. 我们已经超过2个礼拜都只能上线上课。Now, and when I talked to you last year, you talked about how students should try to stay actively participating in the classes so as to stay focused and stay 对，所以我觉得那个真的是很棒的点。就当你真的上线上课的时候，你真的就是要去主动的参与的，不然你其实就会觉得好像无感，对不对
？It's really easy to just kind of have the class open and just listen and like be on your phone or just not pay attention because the teacher isn't watching you. And so I think, it's definitely important to just make sure you're engaged. And I also agree, it really does suck when you have to do all your classes from home. When I had COVID, I had to do all my classes from home and turn in assignments, and the only way I could communicate with teachers was through email, and that was kind of a struggle, just because I really wanted to be in class and participate. But, I hope it can end. COVID can kind of end soon.
因为其实去年跟郑颖聊的时候，其实郑颖就有提到说，他实际上在2020年的时候，因为只能上线上课程，那时候他真的觉得it really sucks， 对，真的是很糟糕的事情。然后他只能够透过 email 跟老师联络，然后也只能够在线上看到同学，对，所以是真的很希望可以实体上课，对 ，Let's keep our fingers crossed， 对不对？就是 we can actually get back to in-person learning sooner rather than later. 那不知道大家还有没有什么其他的想要知道的？因为 we're running out of time. 对，大家可以用打字的，然后也可以用开麦问的哦，就是任何事情都可以，关于美国教育啦，或者是郑颖在美国的生活啦，高中生活、青少年生活这样。所以大家还好，没有什么要问的吗？对 ，Okay, then we'll probably have to wrap up.
All right.
对，那大家 I want to thank 郑颖 once again 对 for doing this live streaming with me, and Wish you a wonderful, fabulous. Oh, do students
Oh,
take part-time jobs?
wait, is are they talking about jobs or
对，
like school part time?
佩影问的应该是有打工吗？是吗？就是有兼职吗？是大
Yeah,
学
so a
生
lot
吗
of students work part time. They work at you can work at McDonald's, you can work at the gas station, you can work. Yeah, so you can work anywhere. You can work at the library. A lot of students do work part time to earn some extra money to spend on food and clothes. So,
他说
yeah,
确实大学
students
生
are
是会
allowed
打
to do
工的，
part-time. But to work part time, you have to go to the school and you have to get a license. So there's a form you have to sign with your employer to make sure you don't work too much while you're in high school. So they ensure.
But that's something very different from Taiwan. I mean, in Taiwan, I mean, high school students don't usually take part-time jobs. They probably take part-time jobs when they go to college, but definitely not in high school. 但是，刚刚郑颖有说，就其实在美国的话，高中生是会去打工的，然后比如说去图书馆啦，或者去什么加油站啦，或什么的。但是郑颖有说，就因为是高中生嘛，所以他们实际上是必须要在学校先填一个表格，就是让他知道说你的雇主是谁，这样才能够避免你被压榨或者是被超时工作这样对。所以，但是I think more students, right? I mean, compared with high school, have part-time jobs to make extra money.
Yes. So you mean there's more students in high school compared to college,
or are there equal number of students having
I would
jobs?
say there's more in high school just because you have more time in high school, especially if you're not doing a sport. So.
所以郑颖说，反而在美国的话，其实以人数来说，反而高中生更多打工的，因为高中生的闲暇时间比较多，就反而大学生的闲暇时间没有那么多，对，所以反而没有那么多的人可以有办法打工，对 ，You don't have that much time, free time in college, okay?
So, they said So there's like limited hours. There's only a certain amount you can work each week. I believe it's only maybe 13 hours. It's something not that much in a week. I might be wrong though. But it is a number that you can't go over.
对，所以他们确实是有一个时数限制，就是你到底一个礼拜身为高中生，你到底可以打工几个小时？那这也不确定实际的数字，但大概就是10来个小时，所以实际上没有很多。对，但是你就是必须要符合那个上限，这样才不会被压榨或者是超时工作。对，大家好，
如果是学生的话是 under 20一个星期。
哦 ，under 20哦 ，OK， 好，对，所以是有时数
然后
限制。
然后 international student， 你只能某一些雇主，就是学校的雇主如果是学校就可以，可是如果你在外面什么的，应该就不太行，因为要审核过有签证的问题。所以要看大家签证不一样，可以打的工也不一样。
难怪我听到的大部分都是当什么 TA 啊，或者是当那种学校里头的那种自己的 tutors， 或者是 work as librarians， 对，好像都是这样，就是都是在学校。对，确实像朱婷说的，其实也是会有规定的，就是也不是各种雇主都 OK。对。
I think that's something I heard about as well because I have a international student friend at Taiwan at Purdue from Taiwan, and he can only take on I think 2 internships his time here. He said, and they can only be from a certain amount of employers. So there are some restrictions if you're an international student just because of visa issues.
OK， 对，所以国际学生还是会有一些国际学生自己的限制，对，跟要求。那不知道大家有没有什么想要知道的？对。So I would really be wrapping up this time. 对，谢谢大家今天的参加，然后我也真的很感谢郑颖 ，and I hope to be able to live stream with you again, maybe sometime in your college life, maybe during the vacation. 对，因为我也很想要继续，对，跟郑颖连线以后，对。
I'll be available Well, I can make time whenever in college, so I'd be happy to live stream while I'm in college. I'll just sit in a library or sit somewhere and I can live stream. Yeah.
Thank you so much。对，我很期待，对大家也可以期待一下，就是之后等郑颖上了大学之后，我们还可以好好再跟他连线，and then he can talk about his college life with us。对，所以我郑颖 wish you all the luck。对，所以很祝郑颖接下来一切顺利。然后，大家如果是高三生要准备大考的，祝大家大考准备顺利，对不对？想想郑颖今天分享的东西，给大家当做参考。那希望大家这1个多小时 ，you can take something away from today's live streaming。对对，那大家真的要说拜拜喽。So it's really time to say goodbye。对。
Yeah, so I just want to say, like, thank you again, Miss Daisy, for letting me kind of talk through my own experience, and I hope it could kind of give you guys a unique view. And thank you, Ting, for kind of helping out and explaining some things that we needed. And also, just I'd say, just for me, this past year, things, especially with online learning and stuff like that, but just keep remembering why you're doing it, and don't ever stop working hard, because I believe in all of you.
Good luck, everybody. Keep up the work. 郑颖 thank you. 大家拜拜。
老师拜拜。
朱婷拜。
拜拜。
Thank you。对，郑颖谢谢。
不用谢谢我，我要谢谢你。
我真的太感谢你。
Thank you.
Thank you.